Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where we get to judge strangers on the internet. Reddit, am I the butthole for grounding my daughter because she called my sister-in-law a slut? My daughter, 14 years old, posted a picture of a family get-together on social media. A boy from school recognized her aunt from an adult film and messaged my daughter about it. I believe he sent a video to her as well. Before this, she had no idea her aunt was in the industry. It appears that boy spread this around school and my daughter is being teased for it. I notified the school and they're looking into it and will plan to educate the students about sexism online. My husband and I are respectful and non-judgmental of my sister-in-law's profession and have tried to teach these values to our children. My daughter is understandably upset and I feel for her, but she is directing all her anger and blame towards her aunt. She unfriended my sister-in-law from social media and removed all traces of her from her profiles. She refuses to join us for weekly dinners at my sister-in-law's house, and when they come over, she ignores them and just sits in her room playing Minecraft. I tried talking to her about tolerance, shame, and sexism, but she is dismissive of all of it. My sister-in-law is hurt from all of this. Not only did she have her privacy invaded, but she lost a good relationship with her niece. I went upstairs to my daughter's room to try and talk to her and get her to join us downstairs. My daughter refused and referred to my sister-in-law as a vapid slut and her husband a pathetic cuck, along with other slurs I don't want to repeat. I grounded her for 3 months and took away her internet. My husband definitely thinks that she should be punished for using that language, but that's too much. He also admitted he struggled accepting his sister's career path at first. He thinks she just needs space and will come around eventually because her aunt is family. Edit, seems like my husband is right and I went too far with the punishment. I just never imagined those hurtful words coming from her mouth. I'm going to scale it back to 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. I'll decide with the husband later. We're definitely concerned for our daughter about what's happening at school and we're looking into therapy. For clarification, as for my sister-in-law's privacy, she didn't consent to have her real name revealed to the world, or have her films and her personal information be passed around by 14-year-old boys. Oh man, this one's kinda touchy, but I'm gonna go with you're the butthole, OP. Listen, it isn't the job of a 14-year-old kid to accept the sex industry. It's her job to grow up in a safe environment where she can feel protected and loved. And by the sound of it, she's definitely not getting that from her school. So to me, it seems like priority 1 should be making sure your daughter is safe and cared for, especially regarding the bullying at school. Then, long after that, you can start having a discussion about the sex industry and women's freedom of choice and all that stuff. But for now, punishing her for being upset about being bullied probably isn't the right course of action. Our next Reddit post is from mixedwoes. Let me just preface this by saying I have absolutely no problem with interracial relationships. Now that the air is clear, let me continue. My daughter, Anna, has recently started to date an African American man, Jamal. While I'm not exactly what you would refer to as liberal, he's a nice young man, and as long as my daughter is happy, I'm happy. The problem is Anna is rather naive about the community she lives in. While her friends are quite content to see a relationship like hers, more than a few tongues are wagging in the community, and a few people have privately expressed their concern to me. As I said, I have no problems with mixed relationships, and I've set them straight. But I am painfully aware of how these matters are viewed by certain segments of the population. My parents are coming to stay for us for a week, and Anna expressed a desire to introduce Jamal to them now that things were getting more serious between them. I told her in no uncertain terms that this wasn't going to happen. I may have no problem with Jamal, but they absolutely will. And even when a relationship ends, they won't forget it. They might even go as far as to cut her off entirely. Anna was extremely upset by this and implied I was a racist and more concerned with what my parents think than how she feels. As I said, I know my parents. They simply aren't okay with mixed relationships, and if Anna were to bring Jamal over, even as a friend, they would be furious both at her and me. Anna is currently staying with Jamal and doesn't want to speak with me right now. My wife stands by me, given she knows very well how my parents are. They had a problem with her for months over the length of the skirt she wore when I introduced her to them, for Christ's sake. But a close friend I confided in told me that I've behaved like a butthole and that I need to focus more on my daughter than pleasing my parents. No advice needed, but I have to know, have I been a butthole? OP, 4 out of 5 buttholes. Your whole post basically reads like, I'm not racist, but I'm deeply concerned about the opinions of all the other racists in my life. Also, so what if your grandparents will cut off their daughter? To be honest, it sounds like she might be better off without those racist grandparents in her life. And just to be clear, your parents are 5 out of 5 buttholes. Our next Reddit post is from Open852. I live in a pretty small town, so if you don't know somebody directly, you're likely to know a person who knows them, and this is pretty much biting me in the butt right now. My husband and I are looking to upgrade homes given we're planning on expanding our family. So we've been looking at a few open houses recently. About a week ago, we were at an open house when our daughter, 4, wandered off and picked up this mask type thing laying on the table. Super bright, very loud, apparently very fragile, and pretty much right out in the open. When I saw her touching it, I told her to put it down, but it was too late and somehow it had gotten cracked down the middle. Now, I'm not sure if it was already broken and they'd left it out as some sort of trap, because who leaves something bright like that lying around during an open house with children walking around? Or if she did anything, but I felt extremely embarrassed and grabbed my daughter and told my husband it was time to leave. A so-called friend of mine who knows the house owner saw me there and apparently told her she saw me rushing out of her house on the same day she returned to find the mask broken. Now she's hitting me up on the phone demanding I pay her back for breaking art and naming an absolutely ludicrous price. Thank 4 figures. I'm absolutely not going to pay her that, but a few people I know think I'm in the wrong here. I personally think if you're having an open house that children will be visiting, you don't leave expensive breakables out in the open. I also don't believe for a second that that thing was worth thousands of dollars. And if it was, I think there's a very good chance she broke it herself, then left it lying around dependent on someone else and guilt some money out of them. Who's the butthole here? OP, 5 out of 5 buttholes. I read stories about people like you all the times in rSlash entitled parents. There's tons of expensive stuff in a home. Furniture, art, widescreen TV, your kid could have broken any of those things. But you're trying to wiggle out of it just because it's a piece of art? Don't be stupid. And the fact that you ran out of there instead of trying to apologize? And why would the homeowner be setting a trap when the only reason they know about it is because your friend ratted you out? Our next Reddit post is from AitaBikini. So it was my birthday a couple months ago. Had a party, got some gifts. My friend Mandy got me a super cute bikini. I liked it, said thanks. She ripped the tags off, but whatever. Anyway, went to the community pool with my roommate. Wore bikini, got in the water. Roommate immediately is like, girl. I look and see that this bikini is now kinda see-through. Haha, good joke, Mandy. Anyway, Mandy invited me over to her place to hang out with her and her boyfriend and a few others. Most leave and we're still hanging out. I'm like, hey, what if we get in your hot tub? I go change after them. I meet her boyfriend in the hot tub as she's getting new drinks. I hop in. Immediately, he's looking at my chest. I pretend I don't notice and just make small talk. She comes out a few minutes after and just looks in shock. Eventually gets in. Is that the one I bought? Yeah, I love it. I wear it everywhere. Make up some stuff about how I wore it to the beach, some party with lots of guys, etc. And she's just like, oh. We're in the tub for 20 to 30 minutes. Eventually get out and change. She approached me after and was like, I'm sorry, thought you noticed, but it goes kinda see-through. I'm like, yeah, I know. Why'd you buy me a ducking see-through bathing suit? She's like, it's a joke. Wait, you knew? So you just spent 30 minutes flashing my boyfriend on purpose? I reply, I'm just wearing my birthday gift from her. Anyway, am I the butthole? No, OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. Your friend tried to trick you into flashing strangers, then gets upset when you end up flashing her boyfriend. I say what goes around comes around. Our next Reddit post is from Lotus Throwaway. Background: I graduated from college 4 years ago to live at home with my parents. My sister graduated 2 years ago and also lives with my parents. We both got jobs pretty much straight out of college. I pay my parents $800 a month in rent since my first paycheck. This is a throwaway and it's still fresh and I'm really emotionally charged right now. Last night, my parents were talking loudly about their financial problems in the living room. I overheard and offered to help by paying more in rent. I was thinking $900 to $1,000 since it covers utilities, phone, and internet. My parents were grateful. Now, prior to this, I never asked how much my sister pays in rent. I always figured my parents charged us the same. So, absent-mindedly, I asked a follow-up question. How much is my sister paying for rent? My mom said, nothing. A long pause. What do you mean? She doesn't have to pay rent? My dad, visibly angry, your sister doesn't pay an effing thing. My dad explained how my sister recently bought a brand new car and hasn't paid insurance on it, so my dad had to pay for it. She doesn't pay rent. She doesn't pay utilities, phone, anything. So for the past 2 years, she's been living rent-free while I've been paying my parents. So later that night, we had a family sit-down talk. My sister didn't want to pay rent, especially at how much I was paying. She offered $100. My parents suggested she pay $300, I pay $800, which my sister and I both rejected. The conversation ended with this. My sister saying, F you, I'm trying to live my life. These were her exact words, which pissed me the F off. Holy heck. So my sister storms off to her room, and it's now me and my parents in the living room. I'm extremely upset at this because it's massively unfair. My mom is upset that everyone's angry at each other, and my dad's angry my sister won't pay rent and she won't move out, and both my parents don't want to get police involved. So I say my part before leaving. I'm not going to pay any more rent until she does. It's only fair, right? And if I do pay rent, I pay whatever she's paying. My mom says, what if she pays $300 and you pay $800? No. But OP, we really need the money. That's too bad. I get up and go off to my room. So this morning, my dad comes in and tells me that I'm the butthole for not paying rent. That I should pay rent because it's the right thing to do and all this garbage. I'm like, what the heck? Make my sister pay rent. My mom, who's listening in, you've seen her. She won't listen to us. Well, that's too bad. My mom, really angry. Well, we wouldn't have this problem if you didn't try to make your sister pay rent. That was the last straw that blew it for me. I slammed the door on my parents. As I'm typing this, my parents are in the living room discussing how both their children are rotten and stuff was better back in the home country and back in their day when kids listened to their parents. Like WTF. So let me get this straight. You paid your parents $19,000 in rent while your sister paid $0? Nah, OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. Your parents get 3 out of 5 buttholes for obvious favoritism towards certain siblings. And your sister gets 5 out of 5 buttholes for being an entitled, spoiled brat. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole? And this is rSlash Puppy Bloopers. I'm like, yeah, I know. Why'd you buy me a ducking see-through bathing? I'm like, Pooch, what do you need? Don't be greedy. You just winked at me? You're so cute. You're so cute. Puppy dog. Puppy dog. Can't play with you today. I gotta work. Puppy. She's like, she's like, I'm like, yeah, I know. Why'd you... Dog, I can't even keep track of where I am. I think I've read this before. But you distract me. Whoa. Puppy. What do you want? You want to play like always? Like always? Puppy, you're so cute. Puppy, you're so cute. Puppy dog. Puppy dog. She's like, it's a joke. Wait, you... Okay. I'm like, okay, dog. I'm like, so you just spent the last 30 minutes flashing my boyfriend on. So you just spent the last 30. Dog. No. So you just spent the last 30 minutes flashing my boyfriend? Hugo, please, dog. No. No play. Work now. No play. No. No play, I said. No. So you spent the last 30 minutes flashing my boyfriend on... Dog, you gotta stop whining like your life is bad. Your life is excellent. Do you know? Do you have any idea? You sleep on an actual human bed with comforters. You know, most dogs sleep outside in the wilderness, in the cold, with bugs crawling on them. You spoiled, rotten puppy. Spoiled, rotten puppy dog. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, let's play. Fine, you win. You win. I can't take it anymore.